You ever thought about raising your own chickens or ducks for meat, but you weren't really sure how you were going to go about getting that meat into your freezer come processing day? Or maybe you already do raise your own meat, but you pay somebody else to do the butchering. Or maybe you have started down that rabbit hole of butchering equipment and you thought, oh my goodness, I cannot afford this. This is so expensive. Then this video is for you. I'm going to show you our setup that we use when we butcher our meat. And you'll see that you don't have to spend all that much money. It can actually be done pretty inexpensively and effectively. And if your main concern is getting meat in the freezer for your family, then this video is for you. Lighting in here is always terrible. I'm just out here locking everybody up, and while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and grab this hen right here. You'll notice she's kind of hunkered down, not standing quite like the rest of them, not as bright-eyed. She's quite focused at the moment, actually. If you follow us on social media, I've actually showed a video of her somewhat recently laying a soft egg on this perch. It's not the first time she's done that either, and she's been struggling with that lately. It could be a calcium deficiency, but she's just been really struggling, and without that shell she has a hard time actually laying the egg, and her system's just not working right. Now, our original plan was in fall, when these guys stopped laying for the year, to go ahead and put the older hens into the freezer to make room for the new chicks that we hatched out this year, which we were hoping was going to be a lot of black silver Marans. That ended up not being the case, unfortunately. But we're going to go ahead and do that tomorrow for her. Reason being, Miss Ducky, our Gimpy duck, she never did recover from that leg injury several months ago, and so she can't run very fast. I mean, she makes do, she gets around pretty well, but not enough to escape Mr. Big Drake over here. This big Pekin Drake really likes her, and he really abuses her, and she was just getting torn up on her back. Plus she's molting, so she doesn't have as many feathers to protect her, and her back is just getting torn up. And before it gets infected or fly strike, we decided, you know, she's probably in a lot of pain too. He's a big boy, and with his pain being on that sore leg and then getting her back torn up and everything, we just decided she doesn't need to be in that pain anymore. So before she gets something really terrible, like I said, fly strike or an infection, we're just going to go ahead and send her to the freezer. And while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and do this girl too. So I'm going to be taking her back to the garage, and we're just going to take care of both of those this weekend. So, got Miss Hen here. I can feel the egg in her passage there. It's squishy. The shell isn't hard enough for her to push it out, and honestly, if she doesn't pass it, then she'll die anyways. And I actually, well, how long ago? That was a while ago now. I actually thought that she had a bound egg once before. You remember the night when the goats locked me in the chicken coop? She knocked that pallet down in front of the door. And, oh, Daisy, they're standing on it. I am locked in the chicken coop. Move! Get off! Yeah, that was fun. The reason I was in there is because I thought that she had a bound egg. So, and then the other night, struggling with that, and that is not the first soft egg we've had, so she's just struggling. She's not doing so good, so we're just gonna put an end to that. Good Saturday morning to you. As I mentioned, we're going to be doing a little bit of butchering today. Just 2 birds, not a lot, but I thought I would walk you through and show you what we use equipment-wise, and just that you don't need a lot. It doesn't have to be fancy. You can probably have a lot of it around your house already, so you can definitely make do without expensive pluckers, though that would be super nice, or anything like that. So let me just walk you around our setup real quick, and then once our water gets hot, we'll get to it. So this is what we use for a kill cone. You can buy cones at like Tractor Supply or online, but they are like stupid expensive for what they are. This is literally just a traffic cone we got from Lowe's and strung rope through and suspended from a ladder. Super easy, super cheap. Darcy over at Brailsford Family Homestead actually has a how-to video where you can make them with a 5-gallon bucket. Also a cheap option, and one that I may actually end up doing because honestly, while this is okay for smaller birds, I really am not sure that our duck is going to fit in there today. So this is where we do the deed. And once they've drained out, we have our, what do we call this? Our scalder, that's the word. This is just my canning pot because it's the biggest pot I have. And I'm using the propane burner to heat it up. But really, you could totally heat it up in the house. This just prevents having to move it while there's hot water in there. So whatever big pot you have that can fit a full bird, that works. It's full of water, heating up to 165 degrees. And then over here, mainly because I wanted to stand in the grass, we have our processing set up. We have a bucket here for feathers and entrails. You can compost those things, but you need to have a really hot pile and be able to bury it deep. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to compost it or not. We'll see. And then we just have a table that we've had forever. Cleaned it up real good last night. So we'll be able to pluck here, then scoot over to the cutting board for processing. Cutting board is not necessarily required. I just know that on this glass top they tend to slip a lot, so I'm hoping this will give a little more friction. A good sharp knife. This is a boning knife that I got super cheap on Amazon. And then a bucket for any organs or undeveloped eggs that you may want to save. And that's pretty much it. After that, it's just a matter of if you're doing a lot, you'll need a cooler to put them in, full of ice to keep them cold until you can package them up. Something to package them in, and then off to the freezer they go. We are just about up to temperature on our water right here, so we're fixing to get started. I know not all of you like this part, but we do as a family like to take a moment just to stop and appreciate and thank God for the animal life that is being sacrificed in order to sustain ours. And I know in our modern American culture, eating meat is just a really sterile occurrence where you can just walk into the grocery store and buy it prepackaged. You don't have to think about the animal that died for you to have that meat. But this is one of the reasons we raise animals. We want our children to understand where that food comes from and to be able to appreciate that something had to die in order for them to live. And there's a spiritual lesson there too. Jesus had to die so that we could live forever in heaven one day. So this is a very important part for us. So we're going to go ahead and say a quick prayer and then we'll get to it.
This is my brother putting his hand in his face, and my mommy is butchering a chicken.
I hope that video was helpful and answered any questions you may have had and maybe allayed some fears about being able to raise and put food into your freezer without breaking the bank, because isn't that the goal? So until next time, God bless. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. That just helps our videos get seen better. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. Have a great day.